welcome back to IGN Live at Gamescom in Germany. Now, we've seen lots of great games on the stream already, but let's stop mucking about and talk about Overwatch. And we're joined by the Overwatch team from Blizzard. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you guys.
So the thing that you revealed this week so far is the brand new escort mission, map, Junkertown.
Yeah. Super excited to have it here and have people get their hands on it.
So this is the Australia set map.
Yep.
Is that correct? And so we associate this with the characters of Junk Rat and Roadhog.
Yeah, definitely. It's set in Australia, as you mentioned, and it's in the wreckage of this destroyed Omnium, which is a Omnic factory city that was churning out robots. And it's the home of the Junkers. And the Junkers are this awesome new faction that we're excited to learn more about. The Queen, who is a gladiatorial champion who has her throne at the end of the scrapyard, that arena at the back end there. But you'll also learn a little bit more about Junk Rat and Roadhog just by playing this map.
Because that's what you do in the maps. You kind of like layer a story into the construction of the maps. Like in
definitely.
Iconvold, you get into the throne room at the end. And this one is a similar sort of thing. You get into that throne.
Yep.
So are we going to find out more about the Queen over time, or is like, she very much just like this elusive figure?
It's a deep exploration in throne rooms, really. What you've done.
Yeah. Well, you all like Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that the cool thing about this map is it demonstrates that we really love to blow out all these character stories, right? So Roadhog and Junk Rat aren't just these throwaway characters that just loot and rob their way through the world. They have a deep, rich lore behind them, and this map is just showcasing pieces of that. So we'll keep dropping those hints, and I'm sure we'll start to dig that story out a lot more.
As we watch this footage, and think this is you playing Rory, and I'm saying that
as a compliment.
No judgment.
Because it's terrible.
No judgment.
So this is the opening of the map. Can you just talk about a little bit about the design considerations of an escort map versus kind of controller hybrid?
Yeah, there's some weird design considerations you have to take account of because the objective starts immediately out of the gate, right?
Yeah.
On all the other modes, the objective is some distance away, so oftentimes defense will hang out of the choke. But in our escort maps like Route 66 and Gibraltar and now Junkertown, like you really get those big fights out of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've done a wonderful job, you can even see here in this footage, with giving high ground opportunities to both the attackers and the defenders, right? So out of the gate, the defenders can set up high ground opposite the attacker spawn. The attackers can actually take high ground on those stairs at the front. And we kind of revisit that even as you go through through Junkertown itself. There's a cool mix of high ground opportunities and low ground opportunities.
Yeah, you mentioned there Route 66 as an example, and I got a lot of that similar vibes from this sort of map, not only just because of the design, but also it seems like one of those payload maps that obviously starts with big open areas, and then the further you move, it gets tighter and tighter and closer to build towards that climax. And actually at the end of this map, you enter that room with the big rotating
that's the scrapyard
mechanic.
that Chuck was talking about.
Yeah. Are we going to see more of that in maps going forward? More interactivity, more animated maps?
I would say, yeah. I mean, it's like we had to write some new tech to pull off that gigantic sweeping turbine.
Yeah.
And as an engineer, like we don't want to shut down those ideas. Yeah. So when someone comes to our team and says, "Yeah, no, we want this huge sweeping thing that players can build turrets on," like
that's it. Our instinct
should be like, yeah, that sounds rad, and it almost always is. Like what you should do is actually put symmetric turrets on the bottom of that thing, because as it sweeps over.
Don't say that on the stream.
It sweeps over the payload.
Don't give them
and
ideas.
it is hilarious.
One of my least favorite things is when there's like a tourbillon turret on that rotating platform on Volskaya.
Yeah.
And just no one deals with it forever, and then that's why you don't win.
And then you hear molten cores that comes around the corner.
And everyone just scatters. And you're wondering why your entire comp is all short range heroes. Like, can someone like Pharah real quick and take care of that thing?
Can you talk a bit about like the actual design of the map, because it's a little bit kind of like a favela in areas as well?
Well, so from an artistic standpoint, this was a really interesting challenge. I was talking to a bunch of the artists before we came down here, and with a lot of maps that we've done, there's really good reference. Like what London looks like, and we can extend that out into the future, and there's a good set of reference. But nobody that we've talked to knows what a destroyed Omnium looks like, really. So there's a fair amount of work that's involved in sort of concepting out what that looks like, imagining what it would look like in a state that's sort of undestroyed, and then sort of figuring out kind of what that destruction looks like. And this was a fun one for the artists to be able to kind of take some chances from a design perspective and say, hey, what if we had a gladiatorial mech combat arena in the back? What would that look like? And then also giving each of the spaces, the farm in the outskirts, the sort of town that's in the interior with all the shops and things like that, and then the arena in the back, to give each of them their own unique feeling and flavor. And it came together over the course of a lot of iteration.
When you've debuted new drops before, you've done it in a variety of different accompanying assets, like with Doomfist you had kind of the anime style short. With this you had this new animated short, but it's not one of your kind of other animated shorts that people know of. Can you talk about why you launched the map with that kind of asset?
Well, we have a department at Blizzard called Blizzard Animation. I come from that department, and this was our first time in the in-game cinematics division working with the Overwatch team. That team has done in-game cinematics in the past for Heroes and Diablo and World of Warcraft, and has for many years. And we hadn't yet had the opportunity to try to use this technology with Overwatch, and so this was our first time. And it's really just another medium for us to tell stories. I mean, we have our 2.5D shorts that we've done. We've been doing some 2D animation. And of course, we have our animated shorts, which everyone loves, the super high fidelity CG. The in-game cinematics are just another medium for us to tell more stories with. It's really not an either or, it's an and. So let's tell more stories. And we're really excited to do more of them in the future.
More of them, awesome. So are they the turnaround on them much quicker, so we might see them more frequently? Perhaps?
According to our availability, yes.
I think it's important to remember that there's a tremendous amount of work that goes into these, not just from the artistic side, but also from a technical side. The point that Taryn was making earlier about it being in-game engine rendered is actually really important. There's a lot of work to create the tools that allow you to set up the shots, animate those characters, get the lighting correct, and we've made a substantial investment in sort of making sure that we have that technology in place, because storytelling is so important to Overwatch, and we tell story both within the missions, but also through these other pieces. Everything that we do, from the comics to the 2.5D animated shorts, the animated videos, and the animated shorts, all help build the world of Overwatch.
Well, I think it was great as well to lead with that animation, because right off the bat, you're learning things that I didn't know. When I first heard about Junkertown, I thought this was where Junk Rat and Roadhog lived, and they presumably ruled over it. So the first thing is them getting thrown out of Junkertown.
1 second in.
Exactly.
Out.
It's great. And I think fans will be doing a lot of the same thing as soon as they start getting their hands on this map. It's going off to these tiny little side rooms and finding all these hidden Easter eggs and things that are referenced from the animation.
So yeah, even in that short, when the doors open, there's a scrawl on the wall inside, the Queen's decree, and her last decree is troublemakers will be exiled. And in that shot, they just got thrown out, and the door slammed, and it's just like, that's pretty obvious.
We found a couple cool Easter eggs when we were playing, like in the room that you start off in, on the blackboard. You can see Junkrat's plan written out. There's some of Roadhog's health canisters littered about the floor. Do you guys have any preferences? Like, do you have any favorite Easter eggs on that map?
I gotta say, there's a feature in the map named after one of the engineers, Bruce. Which is great, because apparently everyone in Australia is also named Bruce.
I love Roadhog's motorcycle right at the front. I think that's such a
legit.
Nice. I loved that image in the comic, and it's such a nice direct tie into something else we've done that you see when you see it in the map. It's just super fun to see, and there's some cool stuff we have planned for that.
And there was an Easter egg in the short where he said, you know, what do you think it was when we stole her cash, blew up her shack? The beatdown at the bar, which is a direct reference to the comic events of the comic book. So
obviously you all work for Blizzard specific on Overwatch, doing different, very different things. How much are you coordinating and developing these worlds together? Is it like the map is designed and then it goes to the animation team, or like how does that kind of work?
So one of the things that Ben Dye is another project director from Blizzard Animation, but one of the things he likes to say is it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. It's a real collaboration and partnership. It started, I think, probably very, very early on with the animated shorts, but now when we're doing stuff sort of simultaneously, like we did with this one, it has to be a hand-in-hand partnership. And at times there are places where we will mess up, and like if we make a change for gameplay reasons and it impacts something that these guys are doing, we have to go ahead and make sure these guys are aware of it. But
like if we change the set of the door in front of Junkertown like 19 times.
That would never happen.
The entire thing.
That's crazy. We would never do that.
No, it's
Of course not.
We ended up iterating on the doors during the production of the movie with them
Yep.
and made different versions to make sure it worked for the movie. And even the payload.
And then use all 6.
And then use all 6. Didn't use every version we made. But and then the payload itself, like the team had made this wonderful concept, and then it was being modeled and going in. But then we were like, can we put dynamite right here for the shot? And they're like, oh, that's great. And then they moved the dynamite around, so it's this two-way street back and forth as we evolve both sides.
And the other thing I love about it is that so many great ideas come when people from all over Blizzard understand sort of the core values of what Overwatch is. These guys get it, like they understand what make Junk Rat and Roadhog unique, and then we'll see that stuff and get inspired and then bring it back into the map, and so it's really great to kind of get that kind of partnership.
And we share really early too. Like one of my favorite moments was the first time I saw like the simplest blackout version of the cinematic, and the tone was super clear, and everyone on the team was like, "Oh my god, this is so rad! This is like totally unique in Overwatch."
Let's not forget the first time that we heard about it, which was this guy pitching it to us.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
Singing the song.
Love it.
Doing all the voices.
Of course, you guys are like sold. Here's the budget. Just a big payload of money.
Yeah, literally, yeah. It was a payload. It was a giant payload of money
We
and
were
dynamite.
literally like, we have to make this, and it was just based off of this guy jumping around and doing the song and etc. So it was super fun.
Which you're going to do right now. No.
If you could imagine, like the whole sketch, it was actually really, really fully formulated when we went to the whole thing. Hey, what do you think it was? Go to the boot, and just ran through the whole piece, and it was just so hyper. And I was like, I never get to do a movie like this because it's just so high antic, so pushed and cartoony that I'm just loving it, and I'm falling into it. And they're like, whoa, yeah, we should make that. We should make that.
I remember it was like an animator at Disney once said like the best animators are frustrated actors. They're just in the rooms looking at mirrors pulling faces.
Right. Awesome. I can see that.
So Junkertown is, why did it take so long to get another escort map? It was kind of like Overwatch's arguably signature map, but it was the one that we were waiting on another one for quite a while.
I wish there was like rhyme or reason to it. I think when we make new maps, the mode that we select is like whenever the fancy hits us, right? So I love escort maps as well, so I was really excited to work on this, right? But
I think it was the one that we didn't have the 4th map of.
It was, we deliberately choose, we don't want to double up a mode. But a lot of stuff goes into making a map. It's not just the mode, right? It's what story do you want to tell, right? So we wanted to tell our stories with Oasis. And why am I blanking? Oh gosh, other maps.
Lunar Colony.
Yeah. For me, it's all just one long series of maps that we just choose when the start date is and the end date.
I think another point on this was we really felt like Junkertown was fertile ground from a narrative standpoint. Like we needed to tell that story about what who Junk Rat and Roadhog were and kind of how they came about. So in some ways that was the foundation of this, and then there was the consideration of the sort of map type. We looked at the balance that was there, but yeah, I mean to reiterate what Tim said, I'd love to tell you that there was some sort of grand master plan. But it is all about passion and sort of what people latch onto and like, hey, this is what we should do.
So I'm going to put you on the spot now and ask you a question that is a bit of a rumor, and I said I would ask it on behalf of my New Zealand colleague. Is Roadhog a Kiwi? Has that been confirmed?
I don't know if it's been confirmed.
I don't think it's been confirmed.
Yeah.
So it's a mystery.
I don't think it's.
Let's keep it a mystery.
Okay.
I mean, he's a very mysterious individual.
He is very mysterious.
Doesn't talk much.
Like he barely speaks in the animation.
No one sees his face.
Which I really like.
Which was one of his game lines. You can say the game line.
I think you always do a really good job with the animations on including all the kind of abilities from the actual game, the ults, voice lines. So it's all very consistent. Yeah, skins as well.
Yeah, because the first line that Junkrat says is, as soon as he's thrown out, well, that's a fine, how do you do?
Well, that's a fine, how do you do?
But then you hear him run into other dialogue, and it's like, well, where's this coming from?
That.
Yeah, it's great. This obviously comes at a time that's pretty important for Junk Rat and Roadhog in-game, because they're actually going through some big changes as well. This is the first time I got to play as Roadhog, being able to heal on the move.
And walk,
Yeah,
those were important changes. We had made the decision to remove the one-shot kill from Roadhog. We didn't think it was appropriate.
Thank you very much.
As someone who plays a lot of Roadhog, it was a little disheartening. But I actually was personally fairly happy with the change we had made in terms of his rate of fire and the 5-round clip. But we noticed that folks weren't playing it as much as they could have, and it felt appropriate to kind of go back to the fantasy of Roadhog as a tank. Right? So when we thought about what changes we should make ability-wise, it was kind of a shoo-in that we should make him just much more robust. So that's why we opted to allow him to heal on the move.
Similar to Bastion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's apparently how we solve a lot of balance problems. Is heal on the move. But another big change is that he has a damage reduction while he's healing.
Right.
And that does 2 things. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Currently 50%. We'll see where that number lands.
TCR,
Let's just call it 50%. That's actually really important for that tank fantasy, because now you can actually put yourself between your team and the enemy and inhale the healing, canister,
absorb some damage,
and take some hits. At the same time, he always has had the reputation as a bullet sponge and an ult generator or ult battery.
I call him the ult charger.
Yeah, he's ult charger, right? So that damage reduction change also mitigates a bit of that ult generation for the other team.
Oh, right, of course.
Because they're just doing less damage.
Yeah.
So with also the changes to Junk Rat, were they just a nice coincidence with this map coming out?
I would say it's a nice coincidence with this map coming out. Who knows how the subconscious of our principal hero designer has. Yeah, maybe obviously a Junk Rat and Roadhog on the mind. But yeah, so the changes for Junk Rat I thought were really great as well.
Awesome. Yeah, when Rory and I played, we played as Roadhog and Junk Rat, just that fantasy of going back home. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us and giving us a closer look at Junkertown. So yeah, that was a closer look at Junkertown, new map coming to Overwatch. For more on all the games here at Germany, at Gamescom, stay with us on IGN.